Hi there, thanks for taking interest in this SEO mini course. My name is Ben, and I'll be going through how to choose the right SEO agency for your electrical business. Who is this training for? This training is for established electricians looking to various forms of digital marketing. Electrical contractors thinking about SEO and want to grow their business, but not too sure if SEO is the right way to go for their specific business. You'll know that by the end of this mini course, as we'll cover several factors to look out for, questions to ask, be asked, and red flags to watch out for when choosing an SEO agency. 7 important points. Here are some important points to keep in mind when choosing the right SEO agency for your electrical business. SEO scams and common ways to identify them. SEO scams do exist. You need to understand how to identify them and when to run away. Questions an SEO should ask about your electrical business, as well as red flags to watch out for that will save you time, money, and frustrations. Monthly communications and reporting on what matters for you, which is revenue. Examples of what a high-level SEO agency report will look like, and assessing an SEO agency you're working with to make sure that they've got your best interest at heart. So the first point is SEO scams. When it comes to SEO, scams are common. Common SEO scams. When it comes to SEO, scams and low-quality campaigns are very common. Here are 7 claims that are dishonest. They are relevant in any industry, including electrical SEO, so watch out for these claims made by agencies. Results in 30 days. Typically, SEO is a long-term strategy, and it takes a lot longer than 30 days to start seeing results. Guaranteed rankings. No SEO agency can honestly provide guaranteed rankings as they don't have control over the Google algorithm. SEO for just $99 a month. Cheap SEO is typically very, very low quality or can get your website in trouble with Google. Free trial. Just enter your credit card now. This typically leads into a lock-in contract and low quality SEO. You'll put your credit card in, and then once the trial is over, you'll read the fine print and understand that you are locked into a certain length of contract, which isn't always the best option for websites looking to improve on their SEO. We use the latest super secret strategies. This is a bit of a funny one when it comes to SEO agencies, but I still do see it used quite often. There's often no silver bullet or super secret strategy. It just comes down to hard work, perseverance, and putting the right information for Google and your users to read. 6. Offering submission to hundreds of search engines. Really, when it comes down to it, we should only be focusing on 1, maybe 2 search engines. Hundreds of search engines just is unrealistic and is a waste of resource and time. So the main search engine is obviously Google, and then Bing is also a viable option to optimize for. Anything outside of that typically is just going to waste resources, time, money, effort. And finally, abusing the Google Partner Badge to gain your trust. This is a very common one I see for SEO agencies. They'll put this banner up on their website, and it helps develop trust with users that they know what they're doing. They're partnered with Google. In reality, this has nothing to do with SEO. It's a paid advertisement banner, and it doesn't reflect the SEO capabilities of an agency at all. So stay away from that. Next, questions to ask them. Now that we've seen some examples of common scams to run away from, let's discuss what questions are important for you to ask any agency in the digital marketing space you're thinking about working with. Ask these 4 questions. Have you worked with other electrical companies like mine? If they have and got proven results, then chances are they can replicate those results for your business as well. Number 2, what is your understanding of the electrical industry? So this comes back to whether you want to work with a generalist or a specialist when it comes to SEO. A generalist will work in several different niches, take whatever SEO campaign they can get, whereas a specialist focuses directly on the electrical industry. They know it inside out, they know your customers, they know what services really convert well and where the money is in your industry, making it quite easy to get a positive ROI. 3. What is your website design and SEO priority? This is rankings versus revenue. And if they're prioritizing rankings over revenue, that isn't necessarily going to move the needle for your business. When you invest in SEO, you want a positive return on investment, which means you want more revenue than you're paying for with the SEO campaign. Number 3, What is your website design and SEO priority? This comes back to rankings versus revenue. If they're prioritizing rankings, that doesn't always translate into revenue. They could be ranking you number one for a search term that no one searches, and in the end, no one will convert, no one will contact you, and it'll be wasted money. When you're investing in SEO, you need to focus on revenue. It comes back to revenue, and it is the number one important reason for ROI. Number 4, how do you track the success of an SEO campaign? This should also focus on revenue. They want to demonstrate that they've got revenue at the number one priority, making you money, making your business money, making your business grow. If they have any other rankings, or we want to get your website to a specific domain authority, run away. Focus on revenue and your business will grow much faster than any type of ranking. Questions to be asked. Now that we've covered some things to watch out for, here are some examples of questions a high-end SEO agency should ask about your electrical business. They should ask these types of questions to understand your electrical business better. You should be asked some sort of variation of these questions. Number 1, what is your current annual revenue? This helps understand your business better and make sure they know where the money is at in your business. Number 2, what does your client intake process look like? You need a smooth process to take a prospect to a paying customer. If this is breaking down somehow, there could be potentially other issues in the business that the SEO should really dive into to understand if you're a good fit for SEO, rather than just taking your money and starting a campaign that's not really going to deliver a positive ROI as soon as possible. Number 3, what does your sales process look like from start to finish? This helps identify what your customers are looking for, typical questions you're asking prospects, and questions you're being asked. As well, it makes sure that you have the capabilities to take on new work. If you don't have the capabilities, having more prospects isn't a good idea, as you're not able to fulfill those requests and earn more money from SEO. Number 4, where do you want your business to be 5 years from today? This is very, very important. If an SEO isn't understanding where you want your business to be in 5 years, or the goals of your business, it's very difficult to implement a solid strategy to get you to there because they don't know where you want to head. So make sure you're talking about goals. 5 years, 10 years, it doesn't really matter as long as there is some type of goal you're working towards, and the SEO is made very clear of this. Number 5, which services are the most profitable for your electrical business? You want an SEO agency to focus on the highly profitable services your business offers. So an example of this is a $100,000 commercial fit out versus the swap out of a light fixture that maybe earns your business $100. Which one would you rather the SEO agency focus their time and effort on? Next, we have a look at red flags to watch out for. Say if you're already with an SEO company, watch out for these common red flags. These are signs that an agency isn't putting your electrical business first. So here's what to keep an eye out for. Number 1, no contact on a monthly basis. This is pretty huge, as I've talked to a lot of electrical contractors that hired an SEO company in the past and they just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There's no communication and it's just not a great SEO campaign as you don't know what's going on. Number 2, never discussing what work has been done and what is upcoming. This ties into the first point, but you really want to understand what work has been done and what is upcoming so you understand that things are actually taking place on your site and it's moving in the right way. Number 3, no consideration of your unique service offerings. So this kind of ties back into the point before about what really moves the needle, what generates the most revenue for your electrical business. If your SEO agency isn't considering your unique service offerings, chances are it's not going to be able to send the traffic to the right pages and really focus on the things that's going to deliver that ROI. Number 4, the use of jargon or technical terms to try and confuse you. This is another one I commonly see in the SEO space. And by them trying to confuse you, the communication breaks down. If the communication breaks down, you don't really know what's going on. You don't know that the agency has your best interests at heart and putting your ROI before everything. Number 5, no fundamental SEO analysis and audit from the start. This is a common one that I do see around the SEO space. And people will just jump into creating content creating backlinks, all that kind of stuff. But if the website's broken on a fundamental level, you're really going to be trying to build a house on a broken foundation. It's going to not work as well as it should, and it's just going to take longer to see the ROI if you do it at all. So really, fundamental SEO analysis is the first step before anything. Number 6, when an SEO agency starts with, we will build thousands of links to your website, run away. This is a very, very bad idea and will often lead to a penalization with Google search. Link building is an important part of SEO, but it shouldn't be the first thing that an SEO agency leads with. Otherwise, it's going to be low quality, or it's just going to be spam SEO, which is a very bad idea long term. Number 7, no changes to the website, or all the work is internal. This typically means that an SEO agency is just taking the money and not really doing much work that can show value. They're not creating content. They're not creating backlinks. They're not optimizing the on-page. All work is internal is a bit of a cop-out, and if you can't really show the work that's being done, you're taking their word for it, which is never a great idea. They should be able to show you the work is done, what work is upcoming, and any results they've achieved for the month. Monthly expectations from an SEO company. When you're working with an SEO agency, here are some things you should be expecting on a monthly basis to ensure you're getting what you pay for. Some of the important parts are: how many inquiries were generated? How many people contacted you on a mobile phone, a phone call, email, all that kind of stuff. If you don't know how many people generated from SEO, it's impossible to understand ROI and understand if you're getting your money's worth. Number 3, work completed summary. This doesn't have to be a confusing, complicated sheet. It just should be a bullet point list of all the work that was completed that month. It's not hard to provide. Number 4, transparent communications. This is so important, and a lot of SEO agencies do get this wrong. Honesty, transparency, and just being upfront and honest is so important when it comes to SEO, because you're taking their word for it in a lot of situations that things were done, things are moving in the right direction. If they're not upfront and honest about any mistakes, any issues they've come across, then you're just not going to have that much trust in your SEO agency, which is a bad relationship to be in. Transparency is key. Number 5, revenue-based SEO reporting. This is probably the number 1 point, and it comes back to revenue versus rankings. If an SEO agency is ranking you for number 1 in Google search for a term that no one searches, then it's not going to drive any business to you. It's not going to create any revenue for your business. So if you're after a positive ROI, you should be focused on revenue. And that's what your reporting should really focus on. Number 6, strategy updates and communication. So this jumps back to the point about upcoming work that month. So the strategy is going to evolve over time for SEO. You want strategy updates of what's changing in the strategy, and the communication should be solid around these updates. Number 7, jargon-free reports that show you what matters. Reporting shouldn't be confusing. It should be basic and show you what really matters, revenue. It should show you how SEO is growing your business month after month, not squiggly lines, confusing graphs that make no sense. Focus on what matters. Revenue-based reporting. This is an example of what revenue-based SEO looks like. It's simple, easy to understand, and really focus on what matters, revenue. If the reporting only covers rankings, then how do you know that SEO is driving money to your business, helping it grow? You don't. You need to be focused on revenue, and this is one report that should be provided to you monthly and on the monthly calls as well. Just going over the basic stuff, the revenue. Assess your relationship. If you've already started with an SEO company and thinking you might be in a bad situation, some contracts have fine print that has the potential to cause serious damage to your brand, your website, and your online reputation. So ask these questions as soon as possible. Do I own my own website and all of the assets? In the SEO space, there is the worst case scenario that you hire an SEO agency to build your website, to build all these great assets online. And then when you decide to stop working with them, the fine print says that the SEO actually owns them and then charges you an extra fee that's often a ridiculous amount to get those assets released to you. Make sure when you work with an SEO agency, you own everything, the website, everything like that. Number 2, do I have an SEO contract and how long is it? Some SEO agencies make people sign into contracts, 6 months, 12 months, which isn't always a bad idea, but you should understand if you're in one and the expectations of how long you have to be in that contract for. Number 3, what happens if I want out of my contract today? Is there a penalty? Often there is of a late cancellation, so just understanding that before you sign or understanding it once you're in that contract is key to understanding if you can get out of it if you want to. Number 4, what work has been completed this month? This is a very simple question and should be able to be answered quite easily by any SEO agency. This will often be covered in end-of-month strategy calls, and if you're not asking this question and you don't really know what's going on month to month, make sure you ask this question. There are great SEO companies though. All this being said, there are many great SEO agencies out there that will help you grow your electrical business by focusing on revenue, being transparent and honest as well. Some of the things a great SEO agency will do: number 1, work hard to understand your electrical business inside out. The customers, your service offerings, what really drives revenue. Number 2, having strong communication with monthly calls and no confusing reports, just demonstrating what matters. Being upfront on the reporting and showing ROI through revenue-based reporting. Number 3, be concerned with the things that matter to your contracting business. If your SEO agency is focused on improving the rankings of a service that doesn't really drive much money to your business and leaves an important aspect to your business, say commercial fit outs, with no optimization and no ranking increases, chances are they're focusing on the wrong things because they haven't asked the right questions. But a great SEO agency will understand the things that make your business grow and look to improve those things first. Number 4, have experience in your industry and want to see your business grow. If an SEO agency understands your industry, the time to a positive ROI is often much, much shorter. Making sure that they want to see your business grow and really put your business first is the key aspect here. Number 5, implement a complete SEO campaign that has proven results behind it. If they've got results for your competitors, chances are they can get results for you as well. Number 6, care about you and your electrical business. They're not just going to take your money and you'll never hear from them. They're actually going to care about you and growing your business. And that is fundamental when it comes to SEO. If your agency doesn't care about you, your ROI will suffer. So your website is your hub online. Your website represents your business. If a client finds you on another channel, it's very likely they will visit your website or search directly for you on Google search. If they can't find you on Google easily, or your website doesn't convert those visitors into phone calls, booked jobs, essentially you're giving the money away to the competition. Your website should be an online asset to your electrical contracting business that will grow in value over time if treated and nurtured properly. It will become a powerful, consistent source of leads. Partnering with a specialized SEO company can help you achieve a higher level of success for your business and help it grow month over month. So that's the end of the training for today. If you have any questions about this training or SEO in general, I do offer free 45-minute consultation sessions for electrical contractors, as well as free audits for your website. You can click the book here link or contact me through my website, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever suits you best. I appreciate your time today. Thank you and have a great day.